Hi, I'm Beth Pittman Tressel, and I'm from Tennessee, but for the last 6 years and currently, my husband Terry and I are full-time missionaries living in Uruguay, South America. We believe God had called us here to plant 50 new churches in the atheist country of Uruguay. And as of last week, 6 years and last week, we've been able to be a part of planting 32 new churches here in Uruguay, which just blows my mind. I'm a pastor's daughter, as was my mom. I'm a fifth generation Pentecostal pastor's daughter, and we have a myriad of pastors throughout our family, mostly Pentecostal, some from the Baptist faith, and that's kind of the makeup of my heritage in Christianity. We have 3 daughters, Autumn, Olivia, and Sydney, and 1 granddaughter, Madeline, who we love the most. We should have had her first, huh? But you might describe our family as kind of the United Nations of families. Our daughter Olivia is married to an Egyptian. Our daughter Sydney, who lives here in Uruguay and is a missionary as well, is married to a Guatemalan. And then our daughter Autumn is married to an Irish American. So that's kind of the diversity that you would find in our family. Before we moved to Uruguay, for 12 years before we moved to Uruguay as full-time missionaries, I served as an executive director for a faith-based nonprofit organization that ministered to at-risk youth in the inner city of Chattanooga. And while we served also as youth pastors and urban pastors and associate pastors, a lot of you will know that are in ministry that really ministry doesn't pay until the afterlife. That's what we like to joke about. So my husband and his family for many years owned and operated restaurants, and so my husband did that up until the time that, in addition to working in ministry, up until the time we came here. Back in the early 80s, I was a student at Lee College then, and was pursuing a degree in intercultural studies. Unfortunately, I was unable to complete my degree, and life just happens, and then you just keep going on. So now I am trying to complete my degree in leadership with an emphasis in administration. I'm no spring chicken, and I know one day God will be finished with our work here in Uruguay, and we'll need to go back to the United States. And whether we go to another mission field, or if we land just back in the United States and need to take secular jobs or jobs in ministry, I'm hoping that having that degree will help me to garner a better livable wage, or so I would think. But that's what I studied, and I just made some notes here. Many people don't know that Uruguay, where we're here, is an atheist country. It's the most secular country in all of South America. And the people that we are being able to lead to the Lord are first-generation Christians. I stand in awe every day that God would allow us to be part of literally writing the history of Christianity for this country. There are people that will come to know the Lord in the new churches that we've planted this year, let's just say 2018, and they'll be able to mark 2018 as the day that, or the year that Christianity entered their bloodline. That they'll be able to mark from here forward, all the generations that come after them will be Christians. They will have Christianity to be a part of their heritage. To me, that, I don't know, it's so humbling, but it's so overwhelming of what a huge task that is. As to answer the questions that were assigned for this class, what is leadership? Obviously, I read some of the information in the books, but also want to just give a generic definition. The Webster's Dictionary says leadership is the action of leading a group of people or an organization. And then I went online and looked at the Christian Leadership Center, which defines Christian leadership as dynamic relational process in which people under the influence of the Holy Spirit partner to achieve a common goal. It is serving others by leading and leading others by serving. And that's really what I feel like Christian leadership is. I don't know that it's that much different than just leadership. Other than the fact that we are using Christian principles and the example of Christ in our abilities to lead people. I don't know that it has to be that we're just leading them in a ministry setting. I don't think it's that. I think it is our character and our the example of us being Christ-like. And Christ, his example was that of a servant. And so I would consider Christian leadership servant leadership. And you ask for us to do that by listing scriptures that we believe that would go along with the leadership aspect of it. This is repeated, of course, throughout all of the Gospels, but Mark 10, 42, and 45, and I'm sure some of my classmates will list this as well. It says, Jesus called them together and said, "You know that those who are regarded as rulers of the Gentiles lord over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you, instead." So that means that you're not going to be your regular leader. You're going to be this kind of leader. You're not going to lord over your people. You're going to be this kind of leader. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant. And whoever wants to be first must be a slave of all. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. And I think that that's indicative of Christian leadership, is that we are servants. It goes on, several other references I like to use when it comes to leadership is 1 Kings 12 and 7. It says, "They replied, 'If today you will be a servant to the people and serve them and give a formidable answer, they will always be servants to you.'" So if you are leading as a servant leader, those that are your followers, not that they're following you, but those that you have rank over, I guess I would say, they will emulate you just like we emulate Christ, and they will be servants as well. And then 1 Timothy 3 and 1, which gives us the example of our overseership. I'm a Church of God minister, licensed minister in the Church of God, and so this is what the reference we use for overseer. It says he is trustworthy. So I think it has to do with all of our character. "Whoever aspires to be an overseer desires a noble task. Now the overseer is to be above reproach, faithful to his wife, temperate, self-controlled, respectable, hospitable, able to teach, not given to drunkenness or violence, but gentle, not quarrelsome, not a lover of money. He must manage his own family well and see that his children obey him, and he must be so in a manner worthy of full respect." And I think that that's it. It doesn't matter if you are managing in a secular setting or whether you're managing in a ministry setting. You need to be above reproach. It's all about you as the leader and what kind of leader that you are and how you intend to lead. We have leaders that lead in Christian settings that don't possess these attributes. They are not above reproach. They are not above what I want to say. They're not gentle. But then we have people leading in a secular setting as well that have all of these attributes. They lead and they're above reproach, and they're respectable, and they're hospitable, and they possess all of those attributes. So that's what I believe is Christian leadership. And what I hope to learn is how I can better hone my skills as a leader, not just what the Word says about it, which I really intend to learn more about that, but how that I can use a greater knowledge of that to lead this country out of darkness into His marvelous light. Thanks for letting me do this video for you guys.